Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for sticking around, and a big thank you to Raghu for that lovely performance. Wasn't it brilliant?
Thank you.
Yes, it was. So what we really want to do here for the podcast is really get into your story of what your life as a musician and how you came to have done all the amazing things you have done, including like playing Glastonbury, playing to tens of thousands in your homeland, and playing Jules Holland, playing in front of the Queen, to name but a few. But let's take it right back to the start and talk about how you got established as a musician.
It's kind of a weird story. When I was 8, my father pushed me into learning classical dance. Of course, my figure does not endorse that fact anymore. But I pursued that for 18 years almost, and I almost wanted to take it as my profession before my dad pushed me towards, taking science as a career, and I studied microbiology and then molecular biochemistry and almost became a scientist. But then when I was 19, a classmate of mine made fun of me for pursuing classical dance, which is Bharatanatyam, which is usually pursued by women and not by men. And because of that misconception, normally in the public, so that classical dance is pursued only by women, he made fun of me that it's very effeminate of me to pursue classical dance. And he used to play the guitar and sing songs in English, especially the pop songs. So yeah, it kind of ticked me off. So I said, okay, give me that stupid instrument of yours for 2 months and I'll learn that instrument and sing a song for you in English. It's no big deal, really. So that's how I started to learn to play the guitar on my own. And I learned a song called 500 Miles in a couple of months, or maybe a couple of weeks, actually. And then I went back to him and showed him that I could play the guitar. And it was not really a big deal to play the guitar just to show that you're a man enough. But in those few days, I realized what a joy it is to play an instrument and just take in that thin air and throw it out in the form of a voice and a song, and it's a feeling that I can't even describe. It's a very personal thing. It probably is the only thing that can make me feel one with myself. And if you've seen me perform earlier, I automatically close my eyes and sing. I just can't open my eyes and sing. It's simply because I just love that feeling that it does. It's better than anything else. And it kind of got me hooked. And then I continued writing songs, making music. And it's only when I was in my late 20s, I realized that I should stop writing and thinking and singing in English. Because in those days, if you could play Hotel California note by note, you were considered as a good musician. But slowly, I think India is waking up now, and the youngsters especially are very proud to wear wear India on their sleeve. And that's when I switched over to singing in my mother tongue and the language of my state, Kannada, and started digging into poetry, which was written 17th, 18th century, and making melodies to it, but lace it with music which is contemporary so that the youngsters can enjoy it musically and then eventually get the message behind these amazing songs which were written centuries back. So personally, that's been my aim and journey so far into taking traditional poetry, putting into music that the youngsters can understand and enjoy, and pass on the legacy. Yeah.
Fantastic. So really, you got into music as kind of because of macho chauvinism, almost to show off.
It's very funny. I'm embarrassed to even tell that story anyway.
Not at all. It's great to find out how someone gets involved, and it can happen in any way.
Yeah.
So as you were writing songs and making music, it'd be nice to hear a bit more about how you did bring that Western culture in. So it really was from learning those songs like Hotel California and then mixing that with your traditional sounds.
It is really, my music is really what India is on the whole today. We are extremely proud of our history, which is so rich in culture and traditional. There's nothing that we don't have in terms of both music, dance, science, discoveries, etc. But at the same time, we're also open to embracing cultures from all around the world. Thanks to the entire 20th century, late 20th century, and I think that brought in the internet and Bangalore is the Silicon Valley of India, and we're bombarded with cultures from all around the world. And Bangalore has become, over the period of time, a very cosmopolitan city now. People from all around the world come here. So while I was growing up, I was exposed to all cultures thanks to television and then the internet, of course. So I think my music is a reflection of just that. It's a reflection of me growing up in a very traditional South Indian family, but at the same time being educated in a college and then exposed to every culture. So I could mix it all together, I guess. It's just a natural thing.
And we're here in the Glasgow Apple store in the midst of the Celtic Connections Festival 2014, and I know you're no stranger to this festival. How do you find Glasgow when you come here?
We played a couple of years back in Glasgow. We did Oranmo, and then we played here at this very stage too. And we've had amazing response then, and yesterday it was only stronger. We had a jam-packed house at Oranmo yesterday night, and then we played on BBC Three at the Centre for Contemporary Arts. So even there we got amazing reviews from people tweeting about whoever were listening and driving their car or sitting at home. It's been amazing. In fact, the entire touring to the UK since last 4 years, we've earned really hardcore fans who travel from cities to city following us. Like there are two ladies who followed us all the way from Leicester to watch us play yesterday at Oranmo. That was crazy, I thought. So things are really looking up. We went on to become #1 on iTunes, on world music charts in the UK. We got featured on later with Jules Holland. We played Glastonbury, Lama Tree Festival, Latitude, and Belladrum.
A wonderful festival in the north of Scotland.
So the love has only been increasing, and I hope it continues, and we'll come back stronger every year.
Excellent, we hope so as well.
Thank you very much.
Tonight's concert, you're performing as part of the International Burns Night at the Hydro Arena, the brand new arena. How do you feel about that show tonight? And maybe if you could talk a little bit about the man himself, Ravi Burns.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really read much of his poetry, but there is an India connection to it. We have the national poet, Rabindranath Tagore, who wrote the national anthem of our country, and also hundreds and hundreds of incredible poems and even stories. And he was so impressed with Robert Burns that he actually traveled all the way here searching for this man of that amazing poetry. And eventually he's done translations of Robert Burns' poetry into Bengali in India. So in that sense, I think it's beautiful that a man from completely different country could inspire another incredibly inspiring person to make that journey and connect at the level of art. And I think all other boundaries just disappear and brought the world together, completely disparate worlds together. And I think if we all in humans find us that connection between people from different cultures, I think we'll have absolutely no wars.
I couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah.
As you've developed as an artist, and you've just released, your newest album was released in November last year.
Last year, November, yeah.
How has your travelling and maybe the reception you've got in the UK especially, has that influenced the music you've made?
Yes, in fact, that's the reason why we called it Jug Changa, which means the beautiful world. Simply because for the last 4 years, we've been traveling to possibly every continent except Africa. And we've met some incredible musicians who have become great friends. I wanted them all to be on the album. So I traveled all over again, meeting these musicians and recording them. So because of these travels and playing at various festivals and interacting with other musicians from different countries, it definitely has kind of broadened my horizons as a musician. And the idea was to get all those cultures into the sound of the album. And the 8 songs that you have are all completely different from each other, simply because it's inspired by meeting another musician. And it's almost like a mixtape. Yeah.
Is there anyone you would maybe tip that is playing at the Celtic Connections Festival? I know you've been rushing about, so busy. But is there anyone you think people should go and check out at the festival?
You know, unfortunately, Celtic Connections has been incredibly cruel on us, that we've played a gig every 2 hours. Like today morning, we woke up at 9:30, we sound checked till about 12 at the Hydro, and rushed to play at the Indian reception for the Celtic Connections delegates. We finished that and walked here to Apple Store, finished this gig, and now we're rushing back to the Hydro to play the main gig. So we really didn't have any time to watch anybody else. I don't know if my bandmates have caught anybody else, but I just couldn't. So it's been a very quick tour, and just 2 days we came all the way from Bangalore just to play it yesterday and today. And we're rushing back tomorrow morning because we have other shows lined up there. Otherwise, I would have definitely made it a point to meet everybody and then go, yeah.
You're a hard-working man.
Yeah, just the situation. I can't complain, really.
Yeah, exactly. Have we got any questions at this point from anyone in the audience? Anyone got any burning questions they want to ask? Yes, we've got one down here.
You said that you are a classical dancer? Or you
Was,
have in the
like I
past?
said, now I'm a belly dancer.
Well, I was at your gig last night in Oranmore.
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I felt a little lost because I didn't know how to dance.
You don't know how to dance?
No.
You just stand
I would like you to...
and then move. That's it. That's the dance.
Do you have any dances that go with your music that you would care to show us?
Sorry, come again?
Would you show us a dance that...
Oh, Gaurav,
What do you think? Yes.
what dance did you want to watch?
Something from your country?
From my country. Oh my God, you really put me in a spot, didn't you? Why did you even allow this to happen to me?
Great question.
I really can't show you any dance move. Like what all we know is, frankly speaking, the Western world only has been exposed to the tip of the iceberg of Indian music. In fact, people are very surprised when they see Indians playing rock guitars and the drum kit and bass guitar and stuff. So when they say, you said you play Indian music, so what are you doing with an electric guitar in your hand? The idea is to actually embrace instrument of any kind and still be able to play Indian music on it. And then somehow the two worlds come together in that sense. So if you're asking me to really dance, I'm so sorry. Unless you're asking me to dance with you.
Ooh.
See, I put you back in the spot.
As I said, I don't know how.
I don't know too.
I don't know how. Well...
Whatever you saw yesterday at Oranmore is all I know about dancing and making people dance. It's the ping pong dance that we make everybody do. So yeah.
Have we got any other questions?
Oh wow.
Right there.
I love your gloves.
What's your favorite song?
What's my favorite song? Wow. That's a difficult question to answer, isn't it? Why are you all so determined to put me in a spot?
It's a discerning audience.
Okay. Song from India? Is that what you're asking me? Anywhere. You know what? It's been my anthem personally, but there is a song by a rock band which you shouldn't be listening to. It's called Aerosmith, and they wrote a song called Dream On, and that's my favorite song.
What? I did not expect that as an answer.
Yeah. and every song written by Queen. I love everything about Queen, yeah.
Brilliant. You learn something new every day. Have we got any other questions? Yes.
What would you say the main differences of playing to a UK audience or an Indian audience are?
Actually, nothing. Simply because even if I move out 200 kilometers of radius of my house, the language changes in India, and nobody will understand me. Even within my home state, the songs that I sing, which are written like centuries ago, is not the language that we speak today. So it's as alien as to anybody else. And that's a great testimonial for me to make, to see that music really does not have any language barrier. As much as it is a cliche to say that, it is the truth. It is the truth that beyond language and other cultural barriers that we have made it for ourselves, there's this human connection that happens that you can relate to. The emotions are all the same. I feel the same happiness that you would feel if you were on a roller coaster ride, I think, and then probably feel the same pain when you see somebody else suffering, or it's the same suffering I go through So at the core, we are all the same. Actually, we're just fortunate to be born in different countries and yet connect like this. Yeah.
That's a great question. Thank you. Any more questions before we let this poor man have a break for a while?
I was going to ask you, how would you describe your music? Would you describe it as Indian music? Would you describe it as pop music? world music?
What would I call my music? I call it contemporary Indian folk music because that's the best way to describe it. I wouldn't want to call it world music because we're not like truly like folk music. Like we're not like completely root music either. We have rock and roll, we have pop, everything mixed into our music apart from the core being very Indian music. And then, so we call it contemporary folk music because that's what contemporary India is right now.
Fantastic. Well, if that's it, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming and playing here.
Ali. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for
Pleasure
being
talking to
grilled
you.
by the
Thank you.
Glaswegian audience.
Thank you very much. You really did make it count for all the effort of coming here to the Apple Store and performing here. Thank you very much. You've been lovely. Thank
Ladies
you.
and gentlemen, Raghu
You're not
Dixit.
been lovely.